Hey guys, it's Jane. I am here to do a quick vid about my A to Z readathon last month. So let's get down to it. The first book that I read for my A to Z readathon was a reread. It was Matt Ruff's Lovecraft Country. Now, I think you'll agree that is a pretty good start to the month. Lovecraft Country is a really great collection of interconnected stories. Each section has a slightly different horror, science fiction genre trope being worked through. The main character in each one is slightly different, although the main characters in one part will be secondary characters in another part. There is also an overarching story. It's kind of like a season of TV episodes in a book, and that is no coincidence because Matt Ruff actually initially thought of the idea and pitched it as a TV show but couldn't get it made, so wrote a book. The happy part of that story is that HBO is now currently developing it. I'm really looking forward to watching that on TV. Now, the second book that I read for my A to Z readathon was Jeff Johnson's Lucky Supreme. Lucky Supreme is a noirish crime thriller. It is set around a tattoo parlor. I really enjoyed this. It's new out this year. It's got a really beautiful voice. So the story starts with the fact that an artist who had been working at the tattoo parlor left a couple of years previously, and in leaving stole a bunch of the flash art off the walls. Now, this art in this instance was actually quite old and valuable, and so the proprietor of the Lucky Supreme has told all of his friends throughout the tattoo artist community across America to be on the lookout for this dude who stole the art. And now, a couple of years later, he's just got the call from a friend in California saying that he has found this dude, and so the proprietor is heading off out of town to beat this dude up, get his revenge, and hopefully get the art back. It turns out it's all much more complicated than that. It's a really, really fast-paced, fun read. The third thing that I read this month only gave me one letter, but what a letter! What a letter! Q by Vikas Swarup is called Q&A, which you may not have heard of, but you have probably heard of the film that was made of the book Slumdog Millionaire. The next book that I read on my A to Z readathon is the second book, the follow-up to Lucky Supreme. It's called A Long Crazy Burn. A Long Crazy Burn picks up just a couple of months after Lucky Supreme finishes, and in this one he gets a phone call at sort of 3 AM telling him to get out of his shop immediately. He goes to the window, looks out, and there's flashing lights everywhere, one of them belonging to a bomb unit vehicle. He gets out with seconds to spare, and his whole tattoo parlor is blown sky high. That's the kickoff point, and yeah, it turns out there's some dodgy property developer, and it's about gentrification, and yeah, don't worry, he gets his own back. It's all good. Again, a really, really enjoyable read. The next book that I read for my A to Z readathon was also, as a crossover, a read for Non-Fiction November. It's the only non-fiction that I read last month. It was called The Secrets of Station X. So X marks the spot. This book is about Bletchley Park. The writing wasn't so great, but the story is really interesting. Bletchley Park was the home of code breaking in the lead up to and then during the whole length of the Second World War. The UK code breaking efforts were headquartered at Bletchley Park, and it's some of parts of this story I knew before, but there were other things that were brand new to me, and it's just such a fascinating story. So as I said, the writing itself not as thrilling as it might be, but the story totally makes up for it. The second last book that I read for my A to Z readathon is a science fiction classic, Arthur C. Clarke's Rendezvous with Rama. In Rendezvous with Rama, Earth astronomers have discovered an interplanetary object, like an asteroid, that's heading towards Earth, but as it comes closer, it's much more regular than you would expect. And yeah, it turns out not to be an asteroid or another natural body, but in fact like a spaceship. So they send a manned probe out to make contact, and yeah, it's kind of a space exploration come aliens come first contact story. And yeah, it was a good read. It was a good read. The last one, the very last book that I read for my A to Z readathon was a Connie Willis novella called Inside Job. That gives me the J. Excellent. Inside Job is about a professional skeptic who makes a living publishing a magazine which he debunks channelers and spoon benders and psychics and Reiki healers and all this sort of category of con artist as far as he's concerned. And the story is about what happens when something starts happening that looks like it's a legitimate, actual expression of one of these sort of supernatural things, and how he handles that. It's again, it's a really nice Connie Willis story, and I very much enjoyed it. That was my A to Z readathon. I really enjoyed it. It made me look out books that I probably wouldn't have picked up otherwise, and yeah, it was great. It was great. I would love to hear if you did the A to Z readathon, how you went. I hope you're well, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!